we'll get rolling here. Okay, guys, we just spent the last section talking an awful lot about percents. I think we had a really good handle on what we dealt with last section. So today, do you guys all have the notes in front of you? Like this? All good? Okay. Guys, title today, some more percent stuff, but we're going to start tying some percents in with, it looks like what today? What's it say there? Percents and what? Proportions. You guys remember what a proportion is, right? We set a lot of them up in the last chapter, so we're going to try and tie these two things together right here today. Goal is to look to use what here, guys? Use proportions to solve percents. All right? Right below here, this is really important. I'm going to kind of give you a formula to talk about today. It says you can represent A is P% of B using the following proportion. Let's just set this up. Okay. A is P% of B. I always like to put it like this. I'm going to put A over. Watch how I write this. Okay. A is going to represent some number. I'm going to put this word right down here, of.
Can we write down that?
Yep. Coming. We're freezing up here. What's going on?
Maybe the sensor died. Maybe it passed away.
What word did I put down here right in front of the variable b? Of. What I'm telling you is this. Any number today that comes right after the word of will always take the place of which variable? B. Okay? That makes sense to everybody? Okay. Then, percents, guys. Percents are always some number out of what value? 100. So I'm going to put P over what value here? 100. Okay. If you can just remember this right here, I'm going to put the P up here as any number they give you as a percent. You're going to put that number in up there. Any number that comes right after the word of is going to be your base, I should say. And then A is going to be what part of the base we're looking for. And it tells us right down here. It says A is part of the what, guys? Base B, and P% or P over 100 is the percent. So, guys, up in this right here, how many unknowns are there? Well, A might be unknown. B is going to be unknown. And what else might be unknown? P. Okay? The one number that's always going to be a constant is what?
Do we draw the squares around those?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
One number that's going to be a constant will always be 100 here, right? Okay. So let's see if we can't put this to good use. Let's put this formula to good use. It says, what percent of 9 is 5? What am I trying to find here, guys? What's it say? It's trying to find a percent. So of these three variables right here, A, B, or P, which one's going to be the unknown we're going to solve for eventually?
P.
Looking for P, right? So that means that 9 and 5 are going to take the place of A and B. So here's how you set this up, guys and gals. It says what percent of 9 is 5? We're looking for P. We're looking for a percent, so we're not going to know a percent P. So I'm going to set this up, say, well, P is what I got to find, and P is always going to be over what value?
100.
All right. Question becomes, how do you set the other ratio up using the 5 and 9?
Oh, 5 over 9.
Why is the 5 on top and the 9 in the bottom?
Because it has of before 9.
The hint I gave you that anything that comes right after the word of, right here, is always going to be your base. So the number that comes right after the word of will always go in for which variable?
B.
Okay, so here's what they're really saying. It's like saying I took 9 free throw shots and I made 5 of them, right? I took 9 total shots, made 5. I want to know what percent I made, okay? It's about like shooting on the Hawkeyes basketball team up that late in games when it matters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, you might get some decimals. If you get decimals, if they repeat, tell me they repeat, but we'll go nearest 10th on stuff today. Got a deal?
Yeah.
Thank you. What'd you get there for that, Brandon?
55 to 60.
the fives, is it a bunch of fives repeating?
Yeah.
55.5 repeating percent. There it is. Okay. All right. Hey, you give these two a shot on your own. See if you can set that proportion up, figure out what it is that we're doing. Attendance. Everybody's here today, right, guys? We got to do attendance here quickly. When you guys get some values for those two on your own, check with a neighbor around you, see if you agree. If you disagree, talk about why you disagree, okay?
That can't work, right?
All right, sounds like we got a little commotion going on up here. So I guess I don't really want the answers right away. I'd like to know how you set the proportions up first off. Okay, so the first one, Chelsea, help me out.
I put 4 over 28 equals, and then I put the percents on.
Okay, real quickly, why is P the variable that we're looking for?
Because
We don't know what the percent is. That's what the P represents, right? Of 28, so 28 is my base B. 4 is the part of the base. So we're simply going to go 4 over 28 equals P over 100. You probably got something kind of ugly with that value. What'd you guys get? 14.3%. How many had about 14.3% there? Awesome. Good job, guys. Somebody different. Someone I haven't heard from yet this morning on the second one. What's the proportion look like for the second one? Go ahead, Mason.
30 over 80.
30 over 80. 80's on the bottom because it comes right after the word of, right? And then
P over 100.
P over 100. P is a percent that we don't know that we're trying to find. Cross multiply 100 times 30 divided by 80.
37.5.
Awesome, guys. Too easy. You want to hear the good news about this? This formula works for every single problem. Okay? This formula works for every single problem we do today. Okay? So anytime you start these right here, it's just a matter really of filling in what you know in for the proper variables A, B, or P. Now, is P always going to be the variable we're looking for? No, we might have to find B sometimes, or you might have to find A. So let's check it out. Let's go to the next page here, page 2. Hey, page 2 says finding part of a base. Let's see, I'm just going to jot my formula down again up here. I got A over, what did I put down here?
Of B.
I always say part of the base right here. All that really says is part of the base. Part of the base. That's what this really means right here. Is some percent or value out of 100. Part of the base is some percent. That's all this really says right here. You guys see that? Part of the base is some percent, right? Simple. Simple. What number is 15% of 300? Ooh, let's see. They give us a 15 and a 300. Where's the 15 going to take place at up there in that formula?
The P over 100.
So P, right? 15 is my percent. This has got to take the place of what value or variable, I should say. How about the 300? What's that going to take? Got to take
B,
why B?
because it's after.
This is a big E word. That's big E. That's important right there, right? What's it say we're finding right here anyway?
Part of a base.
Isn't this saying part of a base? The part is A, isn't it? Part of the base is P%. So what's my proportion going to look like? Well, it's going to look like A over what value, guys?
300.
300, the word or the number that just came after the word of, equals my percent. What is my percent, kiddos?
15.
15 over. Okay, so it says what number is 15% of 300? Basically, we want to know 15% of 300. You get 45 when you do that, right? What do you guys think? Basically, you have three variables. You're plugging in two values to solve for the third one, right?
Yes.
Plugging in two values to solve for the third one. Which one's always going to remain the same? The 100, because we're talking about a percent. A percent is always going to be some value based on 100. Okay. All right, kiddos, let's rock and roll then. Let's see what we can come up with here. Example 3. Am I going too quickly? Do you guys have this down right now?
Yeah.
Everybody's got it? Okay. If I get going too fast, throw a book at me and get my attention, all right? If you throw a book at me, I'll throw it back, and I've never missed. You receive 100. I'm kidding.
Okay, I'll throw one. I'm just.
All right. It says you receive 189 votes, or what, guys?
45.
We got 45%. What's the key word?
Of.
Of what?
The votes.
Do we know the number of votes? What's it say we're finding right here?
Base.
We have the word of, but no number right behind it right there, which would indicate that you're solving for which variable?
Base.
B, right? Okay. It says you receive 189 votes, or 45% of the votes, in a student council election. It says how many students voted. Well, if I got 189 votes, guys, and the whole student body voted, is the student body going to be more than 189 votes I got, or less than 189 votes I got? It's got to be more. So my answer's got to be higher than what value in the end of this? 189. I only got 189 votes from kids, which there better be more students in school than I get votes, right? Okay. All right, so let's set this up. Again, part A of the base B is P percent. Let's fill out what we know. Do we know the A value this time?
108.
It has to be 189 because 189 doesn't come right after the word what? Of, and it's not a percent, so it has to be A.
Yes.
What comes right after the word of up here?
45.
It's 45% of student votes, right? Do we know the number of people that voted?
Yes. 189.
Don't have a clue, do we?
Nope.
So I have to leave this as B down here this time, right? That's going to equal the percent of votes that I received. What was the percent I received?
45.
So 45 out of what?
100.
All right, tell me what you get.
I got 420.
420?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
It's not a decimal at all? No? Okay. So how many students voted in this election, gang?
420.
So they're saying, you know what? I got 189 of the 420 votes. What percent was that?
45.
You think 45% is enough to win an election?
No. Maybe.
Why no? Why do you say no? Because how many would think 45% of the votes enough to win?
Well, if there's two people.
If there's two people, probably going to lose, right? But what if there were, say, 3 people running? Is it possible then that I win with 45% of the vote? Still possible I lose too, right? Okay. I mean, you might have a Barack Obama against a Mitt Romney and I don't know any other one from that party. That party. I see that Obama was flexing his muscles. So, I'd veto that. All right. Anyway, it's possible. Okay. Not politics. Back to math. You guys understand the formula?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Guys, my concern here on the on-your-owns, I want you to do these 2 on-your-owns right here. My concern is that you set the proportions up correctly first. If you can input the 2 values you're given in the proper spots, this will be easy peasy. All right? So make sure you're setting your proportions up correctly. When you get these 2 problems down at the bottom, check again with the neighbor, see if you agree. If you disagree, talk about why you disagree, okay? Governor Braindead's 10-cent tax raise goes into effect in Having good.
It's going up another 10 today.
Going up another 10 after he signs today.
March 1st.
The 2 and
He's
4
supposed to sign this bill today that would increase tax by 10 cents today. Supposedly for road repairs, because you get C plus ratings in Iowa, of course. You see a C plus, better than average roads. Mr. Slater, we're better than average roads. C plus roads, better than average roads. Well, we better fix it, right?
Waste of money.
This is cheap.
What is this trying to do?
I don't care about politics.
You will someday.
200. Whenever it says of,
Yeah.
then that's gonna be the,
Open under parent left. My lessons, look at my rants.
whatever comes out of it.
I showed my parents the one on Halloween.
They laugh.
That was great.
200.
Is that when we were like,
We were,
Insane.
yeah, we were crazy. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, just make sure I don't do it.
He has in the description, these kids are crazy today.
what you got?
Anybody need more time with those two? Give me about another minute or so.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how I got.
All right, kiddos, let's talk about this first one. It says, what number is 62% of 200? Which variable am I solving for here? Going to be solving for A, right? I have my percent, so this has to be what? P. Let's see, I've got a number right after the word of, so that has to be the base. So we got to solve for A. So I'm going to say A over what?
200.
That has to equal my percent P, 62 over 100. So what'd you guys get for this first one? 100 and, I'm sorry, what'd you say, 134 or 124? 124. Okay, so my value would be 124. I agree. Very good. Very good. How many agree 124 there? All right. Okay, the next one says 117 is 78%. This is the easy one right here, right? 78 has to represent which variable? The P, right? And then 117 is 78% of what number? Which variable am I solving for here? Yeah, we don't have a number right after the word of, so that's our unknown right here. So B is our unknown, which makes 117 which variable? So we're going to have 117 over B, and that's going to equal 78 out of, yeah. So you'll go 117 times 100 divides 78. Gosh, I'm not sure on this. Is it 150? 150?
You're smart, Mr. Carson.
Well, thank you. That's the nicest thing anybody's said to me all day.
You're the best math teacher, too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Max. I think you guys are pretty great, too. Guys, what questions have you got?
This is really easy.
Pretty easy. I do have a short book page for you. Let me write this down quickly. That was the last one, right? Yeah. Last page. You guys have a quick quiz attached here, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get the book page down for you.
Why is your book weirdly shaped?
It's the teacher's edition.
Because he's weird.
Oh. I think I'll take the odds and turn them to alls based on that little comment.
Nice going, Anna.
Actually, it wasn't alls. Okay, page 337. Here it is, guys. Write this down. I would like you guys to do problems 1 through, you know what? I'm going to have you do problems 1 through 16, and then number 25, all right? And what is today? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday already. My gosh, week's flying by already. Let's go do Friday with this, okay?
Okay.
Go do on Friday with this, all right?
But tomorrow's our last day.
I know. And hey, just a quick reminder, if you've got like any papers out or anything lately that you've got out, you're definitely going to want to get that into me tomorrow. Trimester ends tomorrow. I don't know weather-wise what's going to happen.
Supposed to go 1 to 6.
We're supposed to, we're in a 6 to 8 band, I guess now.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
we have
is,
snow, so he can push the trimester.
it is,
Yeah.
We